everybody, welcome back. We got another quick video here for you from the shop on our table router. So as you recall, we already talked about our hand router, our laminate router, our peanut router, and we used this straight cut bit. Sleeve out of the way. We use this straight cut bit here to make our letters. We made these grooves in our board, and we could, of course, swap out this bit for a different one to do different things, and we could use that for this. The nice thing is, though, we've got a table saw that is basically a router that is mounted upside down already, and so you're not moving the tool like you do when you're using a hand router. You're moving your material along the bit. So you have the control of the material this time, and you can manipulate it a little bit easier than you can when you have it by hand. So for this, what we're trying to do is we're going to put a round over edge on the front of this. All right? What we use for that is a bit that looks like this. That's a round over bit. So the profile, the outline of this, what you're going to end up with is the opposite of that, right? So you're going to have a round over here. If we use this guy, this is a cove bit, right? Then I would end up with a convex like this instead of a concave, or vice versa, whichever one. But what we're doing right now is we're putting this round over on the front. We don't router the back. The reason being, if I put a round over on this and then come back to do the front, this bit has a bearing on it. So as I go along, I want that bearing to have the material to roll along, and it holds it in the right spot. It keeps the wood at a certain distance off. And so if I router the back and then that's rounded over where that bearing hits, it makes it uneven on the front. The nice thing about this too is because of that bearing, sometimes the corners are a little tricky or you might miss a little spot. You can come back and do it again. Because that bearing is going to hold it in that same spot, you can come back and clean it up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start this on the long section, and I'm going to run it through, and then I'm going to try to, and move this out of my way just a sec, and then I'm going to try to run this over the bit as I come this way, this way. You'll notice I've got a sticker on here. It says feed material, right to left. I've got arrows drawn on here, right to left. Because that bit is mounted underneath there, it's always turning this same direction, meaning I'm always going right to left. All right? Router table's a little exciting. It's loud. It's right here in front of you. You want to focus 100% of your attention on that bit and where it is. Keep your hands back behind the guard and don't try to get them too close. You can move this from way back here as well. The other thing is end grain, right? As I router along here, that's going to want to split out a little bit, so I'm going to go a little bit slower. If I'm going with the grain, I don't really have to worry about that so much. So, got my glasses, I got my mask, and then I'm going to go. So I set my material again face down, set my material on here, here we go. So now you can see it put a nice round edge around here. I got a couple spots where it didn't quite get down. I got a little bit on this corner. Again, nice thing is I can come back and I can just touch up those little spots. One other thing, when you are routering across the end grain to keep your board from splitting out, one of the things you can do is have another board here that you use to push behind it, and then that material has nowhere to go. You can kind of prevent that from happening. Router table, wonderful tool. Be very careful when you're using it. focus 100% on what you're doing, keep your fingers away from that spinning bit, and you can do a million things. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.